Okay, so there's a small issue that we have here yet with the quadratic formula. I mean, it looks like it should be really perfect, but we have a order of operations issue. I made this big deal that you had to put the 2a in parentheses because we want this entire top to be divided by 2a. So if we were writing this by hand, it was negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and then we write it like that. Well, this implies that the entire top is divided by the entire bottom. And right now what we have is only this piece being divided by 2a. I need the negative b to be divided by 2a. I need all of this. So when we take this and flatten it out, we have to make sure that those brackets are in there. So we need the entire top divided by the entire bottom. And here we need the entire top divided by the entire bottom. So we've got to go back up and insert parentheses around the top of that flattened out formula. So let's go do that. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to sit right at the negative. Now look, on our calculator right there is yellow insert. So I'm going to hit second insert, and now it's starting to flash. So whatever I type, we'll put it in front of there. So there's that parentheses. And then I'm going to come over here and put another one right there. Now look, it looks like it's going to have double parentheses, which it will. The parentheses, right, the first parentheses is closing the square root on this older kind of calculator. Now if you have a newer one, you don't have to worry about that. That parentheses won't be there. But if you have an older one, we need another parentheses. So I'm going to say insert a closing parentheses. See, that one and that one are covering the entire top. Then we got to go do it down here. I want to insert the top open and insert the top close. Now we have the quadratic formula that should be working. Okay, the way you run it is you go to Program, hit Enter on Quadratic Formula. Now here's a test case. If we go 1, 2, 1, that should have answers of -1 for both of them. Okay, so that's a good test case. That one's actually working. So let's see if we can't do problem number 7 now. I'm going to do it on this paper. Okay, here's question 7. So we've got 3x squared minus 10x to the third plus 47x squared plus 60x minus 100 equals 0, and they're telling us 2 plus 4i is one of the answers. Okay, so 2 plus 4i is given. That was to the fourth power here. Fourth, third, second, first, 0. Okay, so if 2 plus 4i, then 2 minus 4i is another one, so we know 2 of them. So when we put these 2 in, that should crank it down to the quadratic formula, and we should be good. Okay, let's see if we can do that. So I've got 3, -10, 47, 60, and -100, and I'm going to plug in 2 plus 4i. Okay, I'm going to use my calculator for all of this stuff, so I'm going to drop in the 3. I need 3 times this. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 will be 12i. I'm going to add that down. So -10 and 6 is -4 plus 12i. And now I need this thing times this thing to go up in there. So I definitely use my calculator for that. So I need 2 plus 4i times -4 plus 12i is -56 plus 8i. Okay, I'm gonna add that down. So I'm gonna add 47 to that. So let's see, adding 47 and -56 is what? -9 plus 8i. Okay, so now I need this one times this one to go in there. Okay, so I'm just gonna change the second one to -9 plus 8i. Okay, that gives me negative 50 minus 20i. Add down, 60 and negative 50 is 10 minus 20i. Now I already know if I did it right, this one times this one had better be 100 so that this adds up to 0 because it told us it was a 0. So if you're confident about you've done it right so far, that's got to be 100. I'm going to confirm that, so I'm going to multiply it together. 2 plus 4i, and I'm going to multiply that by I'm going to multiply it by 10 minus 20i. Whoops. Need an I there. 10 minus 20i. Sure enough, it's 100, so all is good. Okay, it was a fourth. I took out a 0. This is to the third. So now I'm going to put my other one in there. I also know the conjugate's got to be a 0. 2 minus 4i. Okay, drop down a 3. Multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times negative 4 is minus 12i. Sure enough, the i's go to 0, so negative 4 plus 6 is 2. Okay, multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8i. And sure enough, those i's go away, leaving negative 5. And now multiply. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20i. And that all adds up to 0. Okay, so we have 3x squared plus 2x minus 5 equals 0. We can factor that. We can put it in the quadratic formula. We have all kinds of methods now. Of course, the fastest one is we're going to use the program we just wrote and put in 3, 2, negative 5. The zeros of that are 1 and 1 and 2/3. Now, one of the things that I might want to do to the formula is most of the time you'd like to see that as a fraction. I think I'm going to go back and edit the formula so it tells it to me both ways. Let's go back to program. Go back to program and edit the quadratic formula. See, we already have it and I want to edit it. I would like it to give it to me as a fraction. Right there where it says D, say math fraction. And now it'll show me D as a fraction, and then I want to do it also with E. I'm going to hit the math key. I'm hitting the math key right here, math, and then the very first one is a fraction, and it'll produce it as a fraction instead. So I'm going to say second quit and maybe run it again. So it was 3, 2, and negative 5. See, that gives me a 1 and negative 5/3. So the other two zeros are 1 and negative 5/3. Okay, let's try number 8. Now that we have this program, it should go reasonably. This should help us go faster, which is part of the point. Okay, there's going to be 5 zeros. Well, here's one of them right here. So I know another one is negative 2 minus the square root of 2. So I've gone from 5. I know 2 of them. Now I can get it down to 3, but we need to get it down to 2 for the quadratic formula to work. But look what I've got here. I've got an x, an x, an x, x, x. They all have an x. I can do factoring first. What if I take out an x? That's going to leave 4x to the 4th plus 4x to the 3rd minus 31x to the squared plus 12x plus 18 equals 0. Now this one is 0 by itself. That's an answer. It's crossing the x-axis at 0. So far, if I graph this, I know one of the zeros is 0, one of them is whatever that number is, somewhere over here, and one of them is whatever that number is, somewhere like right there. It's already starting to look something like that. It's going to go through those 3, and now there's 2 more that I need to find, like maybe there and there. So it has a possibility of 4. Now they might be imaginary. If they're imaginary, it goes something like this. Okay, well, let's see what they are. So here I've got a 4, 4, negative 31, 12, 18. I'm going to put in one of these complex roots up here. So how about the first one, negative 2 plus square root of 2? Okay, if I'm going to use my calculator, I need it to hold as accurately as possible, because now that it's not imaginaries, it's not going to cancel out quite so easy. So I'm going to drop the 4. 4 times this is negative 8 plus 4 square roots of 2. Now, if I'm going to do it by hand, I could just add that together, which is fine. But if I'm going to do this with my calculator, I'm going to store some of these things in memory. So I'm going to put this one in X just because it's the easiest one on the keypad. X is right there. It's a button. So I'm going to type in, let's see, negative 2 plus the square root of 2 and store it in X. Okay, so I have that one now in X. I'll go ahead and do this one by hand. That's going to be negative 4 plus 4 square roots of 2. Okay, I'm going to put that one in A. See how I'm reminding myself where it is? So I'm going to go negative 4 plus 4 square roots of 2, store in A. So it's somewhere around 1.6. Now I need this one times this one to go up here. So I need A times X to get up there with that 31. So now I'm going to do A times X. That's about negative 0.97. Now I need to add that with, so whatever that number is, I need to add negative 31. Okay, so that's about negative 31, 32-ish down here. I'm going to put that one in B. So I have it exactly. Because now to go up here with the 12, I need B times X. B times X is about 18. So that's approximately 18. And now I need to add down a 12. So I'll add 12 to that. So it's about 30 something. I'm going to put that one in C. And now C times X better be negative 18 or something didn't go right. So I'm going to confirm that. CX is negative 18, which makes this one 0. So there I have confirmation that actually was a 0 and it all worked out. So that's in A, that's in B, that's in C, that's in X. Okay, so we were to the 4th power, we took one out, so this is to the 3rd power. I need to take one more out so we can get to the 2nd power, which I can do on the quadratic formula. So here's another 0. Now I'm going to exchange, I'm going to put that one in X. So I'm going to start over and go negative 2 minus the square root of 2, put that one in X, and start up again. Okay, drop the 4. I need 4 times this X number. Okay, so 4x is 13-ish. So I'm going to put this negative 13 up there. So now I need to take A and add it to that. So I need that negative 13, add A. That's negative 12. Okay, now I need negative 12 times X is about 41. So that goes up there to about 41. So I need the B plus 41. So I need that number plus B, 9. Now I need 9 times X to go here. So 9X is about negative 30. And negative 30 plus that C needs to be 0. And sure enough, it is. So confirmation that that one was a 0. So look what we have left now. We have 4, negative 12, 9. So that's 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 equals 0. That's the quadratic formula. So I'm going to go to program, put that in my quadratic formula as 4, negative 12, and 9. So the other zeros are 3 halves and 3 halves. So it's in there twice. Okay, so here's the 5 zeros. That one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So when it happens there twice, what that means is, okay, negative 2 minus, that's about negative 3.4. So that would be right about there. Negative 2 plus, that's about 0.5-ish. And then we have one at 0, and then this is at 1.5. Now, since there's 2 of them there, what will happen is it'll go through this one, it'll go through this one, it'll go through this one. That's like a vertex. It'll bounce right off of it. So it looks like there's 4, but there was really 5. There was 1 there, 2 there, 3 there, 4 and 5 are there. That's what it means when this happens. Okay, let's try one more. This one's imaginary, so it'll be a little bit easier on a calculator. Notice again, x, 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 x. We can factor out one of the x's. So if I do that, we have 15x4 minus 7x3 minus 12x2 plus 38x plus 8 equals 0, and this one actually is 0. So one of the answers is 0. One of the answers was given as imaginary. That means another answer is 1 minus I as another. So there's 3 of them. There's only 2 left. So I can use these 2 to get it down to the quadratic formula. 15 minus 7 minus 12, 38 and 8. And we're going to stick in 1 plus I. Okay, 15 times all that is 15 plus 15i. Add negative 7 makes it 8 plus 15i. So I need to take this one times this one and put it over there. Little calculator help then. So I need 1 plus I times 8 plus 15i. Negative 7 plus 23i. Add down makes it negative 19 plus 23i. So now I need that one times that one, and it'll go there with the 38. So 1 plus I times negative 19 plus 23i. Is negative 42 plus 4i. Add down makes that negative 4 plus 4i. Now I need that one times that one, and it better be negative 8. I'm going to use my calculator just to confirm. So right here, 1 plus I times negative 4 plus 4i. Okay, good. Negative 8. So that adds up to 0, confirming that that was a 0. Now let's take the other one out of there. 1 minus I. Drop down the 15. 15 times this is 15 minus 15i. The imaginary part goes away. 23 is left. 23 times this will be 23 minus 23i. The imaginary parts go to 0. The real part is 4. And now 4 times this will be 4 minus 4i. Now the real is 0 and the imaginary is 0 for 0. Confirms that that actually worked. So now we have 15x squared plus 23x plus 4 equals 0. We have a quadratic formula that will get that for us. Go to Program, Quad, put in 15, 23, and 4. So negative 1/5 and negative 4/3. Okay, so get a TI-83 and make so that you have one so that you can use the quadratic formula on it.